but still include Burlington, St. Louis, and Washington, D.C. this morning as we gear up for a big rain. Two spots of rain that we're watching. A couple of these kind of spotty showers across the Appalachians, and then we've got this cold front that's going to continue sliding across the Midwest. That ramps up our chances for thunderstorms. Some of them could be gusty. And then it's on the move into the Northeast for tomorrow. There's those scattered storms that are kind of centered across the Northeast and stretching down the Southeast. The good news is severe risk is going to be low today, but we'll still have that chance to see that heavy rain. So some localized flooding not out of the question. And especially as we get to at least tomorrow, we'll pick up another inch or two in some of these spots. So again, we'll watch for the potential for some localized flooding across that region, across parts of the Southeast. The highest amounts of rain are going to be on the west coast of Florida and across parts of Tennessee and North Carolina, where we'll see maybe an inch or two. Big picture look for your weekend. Looking ahead, best time of the week, we've got really hot conditions across the middle of the country. Those showers stay with us across the Northeast, and they're still kind of lingering even as we get into our Saturday. But the heat and humidity is going to be really essentially the big story. Anywhere from the Mississippi west, we'll keep that heat wave going, and if you live across the south, it'll be quite humid. But if we're looking on the bright side, Savannah, cool weather. I think if you can do 100 degrees across parts of Texas, Arkansas, the pool is going to be where it's at.
That is a great point, and I like to put that right on the map state. Surveillance, we are digging into a new investigation uncovering how dozens of police officers are using cameras designed to fight crimes to stop women. But up first, produce problems as cases of cyclospora climb. Officials are warning of another foodborne bacteria outbreak. The produce outbreak is now in focus as a possible source. Right now, some worrying health news as officials track two major foodborne illness outbreaks. There are now more than 10,000 confirmed cases of cyclosporiasis, while separately, more than 100 cases of salmonella have been identified in Minnesota. NBC News Chief Executive Reporter Affairs correspondent Ann Thompson has the latest and good morning. Hey, this lettuce now is jalapenos. More than 100 cases in Minnesota, with a vast majority of those people having eaten recently at Chipotle, according to the state's health department.
Chipotle getting people sick again?
They've removed and replaced the peppers in question as health officials face yet another outbreak connected to the food we eat. For thousands of Americans who frequent the produce aisle, it's been a summer to forget.
A summer you can't forget. A summer to forget.
The CDC now confirming more than 10,000 cases of cyclospora infections across 47 states, and they're looking into another 12,000, some of which federal officials say are linked to the recalled iceberg lettuce supplied by Taylor Farms. Ohio
Damn, Taylor Farms.
says it's not time to avoid fruits and vegetables altogether.
Yeah, it
but
is.
instead focus on inspecting and cleaning the produce we buy.
This is something to take very seriously.
Meanwhile, this morning, diners in Minnesota are waking up to a recent salmonella surge. At least 110 cases have been identified so far, according to the state's health department. With jalapenos from a popular fast food chain, Chipotle a main focus. State officials say 89% of those who've gotten sick since mid-June ate at Chipotle.
Wow, Chipotle. Chipotle got me sick like 10 years ago.
Saying they will proactively remove the jalapenos in question and replace them with products from different growers. What's the difference between salmonella and cyclosporiasis?
Cyclosporiasis is from a parasite, and people tend to recover very slowly over a couple weeks time period. With salmonella, we see 400 deaths a year.
As Americans grow more weary and worried about these events, industry experts say these recent outbreaks highlight correctable flaws in our nation's food supply.
Every company, no matter big or small, should follow very, very strict food safety protocols. In order to make sure that they're not killing their customers or making their customers sick.
I ain't gonna even lie, nigga. I don't even remember seeing it. Remember how they used to have the signs and shit out?
It was
Right there by the tire shop.
And unlike the state,
Yeah, right next door to the sound shop.
has yet to identify a single
But,
source. Instead,
don't-
it's looking at multiple reasons.
I don't remember, but I think it's still there, man.
All
I
right,
think
now
it's still
thank you.
there.
Well, talk demanding
That was good business.
oversight. Privacy advocates are
Yeah, I
raising the
thought
alarm
it
out
was
here.
way on
A
7th
Washington
Street,
Post
$60.
investigation found dozens of police officers
But
used
Walmart get right
cameras
back.
intended to fight crime to stop
I'm gonna pay for the one
women. The word details up next.
Yeah, I got a big battery in there.
Same damn battery. You know, start that bitch.
It's not about, I got power behind it. I'm losing.
We're back now with a closer look at what's making news in the world of politics this morning, starting with another redistricting battle taking shape. Legal affairs reporter Gary Beck joins us with that and more. Hey Gary, good morning.
Still it's the damn
Hey,
all
there's
same
been a
sucking
huge
motherfucking
happening in
out.
politics now. Democrats in Maryland
That shit suck, that shit.
to put a question on the
Looks like we got that juice out that bitch.
for the elimination of the state's only GOP-held congressional district. The move comes after months of Democratic hate fighting in the state.
Yeah, I might go by there.
Response to GOP redistricting around the country. Voters in Virginia and lawmakers in New York have made similar moves. Maryland Republicans, however, are calling this
Yeah,
effort
we need a lineup today, man.
the federal workforce is getting a whole lot smaller as a result of the so-called Department of Government
Get lined
initiative.
up. Let's see
It's
what's
not just
talking
about the
about.
oaks here in D.C. NBC News analysis
Good.
from your data
Anybody else?
has found more than 377,000
Who it is?
workforce over the past 19
Day one,
months.
nigga.
With
No matter
Hawaii,
what this guy.
Maine, and Virginia losing federal workers. And while
Nobody
every
does this
department
job.
agency across the federal
I
government
can't
is
see no
active,
line now,
the
dude.
Department of Defense is the lion's share of federal workers, more than 100,000 according to government data. And
How much
just
is
in
this
Virginia,
battery supposed to be?
has
Like, how much you want this to be?
Like 30, 40?
You think I can go and pick apart?
Yeah, you can get one from here. I think it's like 20 bucks.
But
you gotta- No, I think they sell them out front. If they good, they'll pull them out and they'll have them in front. So whatever they got them for, you just gotta, you gotta see what they trying to sell them for. Sometimes it's like 20, 30 bucks. There was some out there when we went there last time. Shit, nigga, for the price, though.
His experience and career at the FBI. That's what's happening in politics now. Savannah, back to you.
All right, Gary, thank you so much. Well, privacy advocates are demanding more oversight of a nationwide camera network used by thousands of police departments. It comes after a new Washington Post investigation.
No, it ain't. It was a nigga online that brought people's attention to that shit.
License plate readers for unauthorized surveillance. At least 50 officers have been charged with or accused of misusing camera systems. Well, according to the Post's analysis, officers use them to track and stalk women, which sometimes led to physical violence, emotional abuse, and manipulation. Flock, the company behind one widely used camera network.
Oh,
says
so
it was
the
designed to fight
police
crime,
getting
but the company
first
said
dab
misuse
on
of the
all the pretty
technology is
bitches.
inevitable. Flock told the Post it's now working on better filters and tools to stop abuse before it happens. Currently, there are no federal laws around the use of license plate readers, and there are few state laws. Therefore, most local police agencies are making their own rules here. Drew Harwell joins us now on the Sun's Attack Report for the Washington Post, and he's part of the
police making their own rules on that shit.
Drew, good morning. First, let's talk about how Flock cameras work, what it is that they are capturing, how it is that you can search and get information out of those captures.
Yeah, thanks for having me. These are cameras that I think we all have driven past many times in America at this point. There's 120,000 on public roadways. You would never guess what they look like because they look like little air fresheners on the side of the road, but they scan every passing car. They take pictures of the license plates. They take the text out from those license plates and put them into a big Apple database that cops can then look on afterward to tell when you drove by that location at what time, and really create a massive
Timeline.
travels. And so this has been a great
That's
crime
hot.
fighting tool for cops, but as we've seen here, it's a really powerful tool for abuse from these officers who can go in on their phone or on their computer, look up whoever they want to look up, often in the middle of the night, often hundreds of searches at a time, and really get the details they need to be able to stalk and spy on
You
this
gotta
person
put
without them ever knowing.
So now tell me more about your investigation. So you just mentioned some of this information that you were able to glean when they are searching, what they are searching, the license plates that they're pulling without any reason that's connected to a crime. How exactly did you guys do this? Because I know you also had text conversations between victims and some of the accused officers, court documents. How did you do this investigation?
Yeah, it was a lot. I mean, thousands of pages of court records, police internal reports. We went to the agencies themselves. We talked to a number of victims. I spent time with some victims who had been. One woman in Georgia was stopped by a former police chief hundreds of times through flock. So it was a lot of records gathering. Part of the problem here is that there's not a lot of transparency into these reports. I think it's almost certainly undercount our number of 50 officers who have misused this tool, because a lot of the reports we found were cases where the cop had already been charged with the crime or arrested.
Oh, I almost forgot y'all was with me. How y'all doing? Push that like button. Show me some love. Here's what I'm cooking. Grits, eggs, sausages. I'm gonna make me a lemon cake, sugar cookie, peach and grape surprise in a minute. Watch, I got a dessert that I'm gonna try to make with lemon cake, peaches, grapes, sugar cookies, and some whipped cream, some Miracle Whip, some Ready Whip. Yeah, I think it's gonna taste real good. What y'all think? Push that like button. Y'all love me? Ain't nobody leaving no comments. Ain't nobody acknowledging themselves. The flock cameras are really, now all of a sudden, flock cameras are becoming an issue. Y'all know what flock cameras is? Those are all those cameras that sit on the side of the road that everybody is now all of a sudden, they don't want their privacy taken from them. No, you shouldn't be your ass shouldn't be out there thinking about committing crimes. If you weren't thinking about committing crimes, you wouldn't be worried about no camera sitting on the side of the road. You know what I mean? How I know? I used to be a criminal. I used to worry about cameras on the side of the road. I know. Oh my God.
As you said earlier, there's no federal laws. There's a patchwork of state laws, but there's
Heavenly Father, please come down from the heavens right now and touch this meal right here, Lord. Bless this meal, Lord. If anything inside this meal is impure, take the impurities out and make it wholesome and nourish my body.
Install really basic changes like requiring officers to put a criminal case for each search, so they
You see it online?
legitimately, certify that each search is real and not just somebody they know. But a lot of this is being put on the companies themselves. There's not a big push federally to rein these in, so I'll be curious if that changes in the years ahead.
Man, I'm messed up. I forgot to put guaranteed sugar on my goddamn grits. Oh my God.
The owners of MySpace say they're relaunching the site that took the internet by storm in the early 2000s. What we know so far about the comeback.
You're supposed to do this when it was still hot. Stir it in with the grits. Good Lord Jesus. Lord Jesus. I knew someone right. I knew I forgot something. I forgot to put shit in my grits. Lord no. Lord no. You can't eat no grits without no sugar, nigga. Hell wrong with you. Amen. That's what I'm talking about right there. How y'all doing? Push that like button. Show me some love. I'm just in my own world. I need to catch myself because this meal right here gonna throw off everything. Oh my God. You see how my eggs came out white and yellow? You go to a restaurant anywhere in America and you ask for eggs and they come back all yellow. And you be like, why the fuck these eggs come back like that? These are not real eggs. Oh, they real eggs. They real eggs. Well, how the fuck they come back all yellow? Because when I cook eggs at home, I ain't never cooked no eggs that didn't come back white and yellow. Why in the fuck your eggs can't come back white and yellow? I just don't understand. I really make an issue of that. And if they come back all yellow, bitch, them eggs is not real. Who the fuck you think you playing with? Trying to charge me real egg prices for some fake ass scientific genetic food.
Let's dig into it. We've got Tech Radar editor at large, Lance Ulanoff, here on set with us. Lance, good morning. Always loving you joining us. So I will admittedly say I wasn't allowed to have my space, so this is a little out of my depth. Well,
my ingredients is kind of off. I kind of ran out of salt. Well, I did run out of salt. I don't have enough salt in my grits. Damn. I gotta go to Walmart. All the way to Walmart. Just for a motherfucking thing of salt.
others, but they bought it with Justin Timberlake for like $36 million. And what's interesting about that is
Because I'm completely out of salt.
bought it previously was $850 million.
Insane.
And you know, we launched it about 2004. It was. I always say that the way we would describe MySpace to an adult is that take it.
And I only eat one Pacific type of salt.
Looks like on the page. It was just
Sea salt, fine grain. If it ain't fine grain sea salt, I don't want it. Well, I need it in the streets. The fine grainer, I just grain it up myself. But
very much now focused purely on music, but the numbers for people visiting are very, very low. And the big question
the salt level on this is off, and I can't taste no salt in my eggs. This breakfast ain't. I'm hungry. And this damn sausage is kind of salty, so if I put the sausage on top of it, kind of even it out for me. It's still good.
What, do we have any details at this point? We don't, right?
No, we don't. And again, I was shocked that they didn't say, we're bringing it back with AI.
It just ain't slapped my mama good.
Talks about AI, and I guess there's a play to
Like,
do that, but I think it's probably
I be making some shit so good, make me want to slap my mama.
So could they bring back the MySpace that feels like
I know my mama can't cook. That's why I really want it. You should have went in the kitchen and listened to your mama. That's why I be telling my mama.
Again, I don't know if there's room for that because the space is crowded. People have kind of picked their platforms. I don't know if they're switching.
What do you think about the possibility of them using AI with that?
Half scrambled eggs, bro.
No, I think it would not be great. You know, it's.
No, when you scramble eggs, you scramble the white and yellow separated from each other. That would go to show people don't even know what scrambled eggs is.
And it really just sounded terrible to me. So I hope they don't do that. We don't need more AI.
You know what really make this meal healthy? This dry ass butter toast. And it's the best thing on the plate. You taste that salted butter just blizzard across the top of it.
Right.
Yeah, there's always a chance for that. I don't think that can anything.
It is interesting.
But it's the bread. The bucci bread is really what make it good. Right? You gotta eat some bucci bread. You ain't getting no bucci bread, nigga.
It really more so. I mean, here and there you see kind of like returns to nostalgia.
Bucci bread.
But not so much when it comes to technology.
I can eat the bucci bread by itself and be satisfied.
Right. So they like record players and film cameras. These things from the past that were now technology. But social media, they're kind of like maybe less of it.
Do y'all know?
They want to start to see people in person.
MySpace is back. Man, go back to your MySpace, y'all. MySpace is better than Facebook. Man.
Everyone's on broadband. Everyone's on social media now.
MySpace is cracking, dog. And if you had a profile on MySpace, you still got one. You might forgot the passcode. Man, but I seen some pictures in my MySpace, man. Man, that just goes to show. I ain't been on MySpace since like 2007. Damn. But MySpace done made a comeback, y'all. Y'all got to go to MySpace. Go to MySpace.com. We putting Facebook out of business. I'm tired of going to jail on Facebook.
She's taking that viral moment in stride and enjoying a major show. As someone who delivers the news every day, and our continuing coverage, Dominique Dillon never expected to have her own headline-making moment. But that's just what happened when the Good Morning Memphis anchor and reporter was caught on camera dozing off during a report. Video of the moment quickly going viral.
Sleeping Beauty over here.
Her co-anchor having some fun.
And it makes you want to take a nap.
I wasn't napping or something.
People online quickly jumping to Dominique's defense, posting, "Excellence can be exhausting." The local news meteorologist adding, "I've been there and I get it." Other viewers noting Dominique is a mom of 2 young girls who only returned from maternity leave in April, writing, "She has a little one at the house, so her nights are different right now."
Dominique got a white man. Dominique got a white man.
California native got her start in news in 2017, working in Texas and Louisiana before moving to Memphis 2 years later.
She come all the way from California, went to the South, called her a white man. White man done put 2 babies in her. Goddamn shame. Now, she done had a baby by a white man. One of those baby that she have a baby by a white man. The next baby that come out of that generation, white, black, washed out. Black is washed out. What the fuck is going on, man? A white man can never genuinely love a black woman genuinely like a black man can. Why do these black women run the white men? You ain't gave enough niggas a chance yet. God damn, you just went straight to the white man. God damn, I am totally against interracial marriage. Niggas, stay black. Stay all the way black. If you black, your bitch should be blacker than you, nigga. So your kids can come out triple black. Like, I can't stand that shit. All these light-skinned ass. And they always get that split race ideology. That light skin, they always go to the white side. They always choose their white side. I know I ain't the only one feel like that. And it's not a hateful thing. It's not a racist thing. It's a real racial thing. Like, our race should not be mating with caucanoids, nigga. Them caucanoids, they from the Caucasus Mountains, nigga. Fuck you doing, bitch? They got goddamn swine in their blood, nigga. Fuck. How y'all doing? Push that like button. You don't like me because I might say something that might offend you and make you laugh at the same time, but I don't give two fucks about your feelings. Oh, I do give a fuck about your laughter feelings, but if I piss you off in any type of way, fuck you. You need to be pissed off. You deserve to be pissed off. Matter of fact, I'm the type of person that God put on this earth to piss people off who deserve it. Like, if you get pissed off by watching some shit I done said, bitch, you deserve to get pissed off. I hope I stole the rest of your goddamn day. I hope I erupted your whole spirit where you can't fully functional and fucking drive straight, bitch. Like, am I the only one? No, I ain't. I know I ain't. Black people are tired, man. We are tired of being tired of being tired. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Push that like button. Somebody said that they want to help me. Y'all really want to help me? I got 67 people in here. Now that I got y'all attention, I want to let y'all know that I'm trying to open up a homeless shelter. And if you can help me open up, if you can donate to my cause, I would ask that you help me because I'm trying to buy this property. I'm really trying to raise $600,000 in like 2 days so I can open up this homeless shelter. Because it's finna start to get cold and people ain't got nowhere to go, nowhere to live. And we're going to try to help people, man. We're going to make, this going to be a homeless shelter for profit. So for anybody that donates, you got to donate first to be an investor. Donate first, then get in my DM and ask me, how can I be an investor into your homeless shelter for profit? We going to make profit, dog. It's going to be a profit. We ain't looking for no federal grants, no government help. We want the money that the government give the people before they stop giving it to them. That's the money we chasing. Push that like button. You know, I was sitting on the porch a while ago, hungry as hell. And I was telling myself, man, I just need to eat something.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel. Californians work hard. They deserve leaders who work just as hard for them. Assemblymember Juan Correa is delivering
Tell me,
solutions for the high desert.
why was Gavin Newsom down in Silicon Valley yesterday trying to do a drive-by on goddamn Donald Trump. Gavin Newsom done came down from the north with the North Daniels. They in lowriders. They were doing all the lowriders. And they were trying to assassinate Donald Trump yesterday. I'm so glad for ICE. ICE put a roadblock on the 99 freeway and scared the shit out of all of them. All of them turned around. They heard ICE was up there on the roadblock. ICE? Damn, Gavin, you trying to get us fucked up, man. You trying to set us up, get us deported. Ain't that about a bitch? Nigga, you say fuck ICE. Nigga, I need a cup of ice right now. Where is ICE at?
And we do have a characterization of this critical race between establishment-backed Democratic Congressman
Tell you what.
Stevens and progressive Sayed. No surprise to you. Too early to call. It is certainly too early to decide.
If you ever want to get,
but we will say that some of the early returns suggest that
through a slow ass checkout line in California.
This Senate race is must-win for Democrats.
The line real long. Go outside the door and run back in real fast. ICE outside, they arrested people, man. And watch how they scatter. Then you can just walk straight up to the counter. I did that shit at Home Depot the other day. Man, I walked right up to the counter. All them motherfuckers broke in the back of the damn store. That shit was so funny. For real.
Yeah, I mean, a big thing just happened.
You ever want to just get, skip the line and make the line disappear?
Is now counted. That was at 6% until about 30 seconds ago when this happened. Holy cow. Oakland County, this is the second biggest county in the state. Like 16% of all the vote in the primaries coming out of here. And we just got more than half the vote from Oakland County in one fell swoop. And you can see here that Haley Stevens is leading that over Abdul El-Sayed by 2 points. Now, the important context for this is a lot of this is vote by mail. That's typically what has come first in Oakland County. Now, this is going to be a little easy here, but this is important because it's the trend that's been revealing itself as these results have been coming in tonight and in these past primaries that we've been seeing. So vote by mail tends to be older, older voters, tends to be more establishment friendly, it tends to be more favorable to a candidate like Stevens. That is what we're seeing in other counties around the state tonight. She does her best with the vote by mail. And so
why are they doing mail-in voting? That is illegal.
This big batch that just came in, but I would say it's only a 2-point advantage with what we think is sort of the best type of vote for. What other type of vote is there? Well, election day vote. Folks who went to the polls and voted in person today. And what we've been seeing throughout the rest of the
y'all know,
and what we've been seeing across this primary season is
that I don't know. Hey, how you doing? Leave that comment, push that like button, share this video, watch your mouth. You sound scared. Okay. Too much politics. If you scared, stay where you at. I hear you. Okay. Hello. She leads by 2 points with 60% of the vote in. I got you. I can get him. It's going to be coming in here is the election day vote.
And do you
pro outside?
No, that's the only time I don't. Cash App. You have an iPhone, you can tap to pay. You have a card.
But I have a card if you have tap to pay.
I can do a tap. I can do a tap to pay. Yeah.
Okay. I'm a debit card.
No problem.
How much is it going to be?
$60.
With the election day vote, Stevens has been holding her own with the vote by mail. Some of these big counties that have reported, a place like this right here, decent size, Eaton County.
All right, time for me to quit being silly. Time for me to go back to work.
We do think the Stevens number might improve as that absentee vote comes in, that vote by mail comes in right now. I just see some more the bottom line is that Oakland number, well, it is higher for Stevens than it is for El-Sayed. Is it as high?
this
Yeah.
wants it to be.
So Steve, you know, I've been talking to folks with the Outside campaign. To your point, they have been laser focused on this same day vote, specifically looking at younger voters, African American voters. So take us inside some of the counties where those votes are reflected. Wayne County, I know, slow to vote. You're probably not going to get that for a little while. But what are you seeing so far? Any indication about those two constituencies?
Well, yeah, Wayne County, we have very little. There's a little bit here from the city of Detroit that's come in right now. That's the one hope, I think, for Stevens in Wayne County, where we have seen in polls that she's been doing better than Al Sayed with black voters. The city of Detroit is 75% black. It is in Wayne County. It's not all of Wayne County. There are other parts of Wayne County that I think are very fertile ground for Al Sayed, but the opportunity there for Stevens, if she really is getting a big number among black voters, you would really see that in Detroit, and that could help her there in Wayne County. We asked, too, about younger voters. Take a look at Washtenaw County. This is Ann Arbor. This is the University of Michigan. I keep saying University of Michigan. This is also Eastern Michigan University. I don't want to leave them out. But Al Sayed here, look at this, off nearly 40 points in Washtenaw County. And I think this one's significant. This is a big piece of the puzzle, too. It's a little bit more than 5% of all the votes cast statewide are going to come out of Washtenaw County. And this is the kind of place where if you're Stevens, I think you knew going into the night you were not going to win Washtenaw County because of what we're talking about, college, young, all of that sort of thing. But you want to hold your own. You need to tread water. You need to be running at like 45%, 44%. Other candidates who are sort of like establishment candidates in Democratic primaries in Michigan who've been successful, that's what they've done in Washtenaw County. She's barely breaking 30% right there. And there's still a lot there left in Washtenaw County that could be very friendly to Al Sayed. So that's, you know, between what we just showed you in Oakland County and what you're seeing there in Washtenaw County, we haven't really even touched Wayne yet. We don't have much. But those, you know, those numbers, if you're Stevens, I think in both places, you might be looking for a bigger number than you're seeing now.
All right, Steve, do not go far. Of course, we'll come back to you every
We got him
few
into
minutes.
a new school. This is a
Yes,
private
thank you
school,
so
so
much
it's
for
around
starting us off.
a bunch of
course,
different kids.
We'll keep everyone
The kids that go to this school.
Yeah, I know.
As we said, I mean, this is.
Yeah, it's a different type of.
It's a really.
And the learning is better too.
Yeah, the learning is better.
In a state like Michigan,
I hate to say it, but
presidents
the school
won
he
it
came
back
from,
in
the parents didn't really
2024.
come from
And there's a
much
lot of
money.
divides.
And when you don't have much money, you don't have ghetto. And he suffered the most for it because he's like white. And they really backed on him for being white.
That's right.
So now we're getting into this new school and he wants to roll up in there.
But he was like me. You like the school?
And how Democrats
The
compete in
school's
states
really
like
nice.
Michigan.
He likes it. He did the walk on
Not
campus.
overstated at all. And the
So
Senate
he
race
just
is
doesn't
another
want
race
them
we're
smacking
watching
him
in
in the
Michigan.
back
There's
of
also
the
a
head.
governor's race there this
Because
November
he's
to
got a
replace
French
the Tony with a
fry.
Democratic governor, Gretchen Whitmer.
Not at
On the
this
Democratic
school.
side, NBC News can project that the current Secretary of State,
Ask
Jocelyn
him. He
Benson,
said he has
has
people
won
that
that
go
race.
there.
No surprise there. She was far
It's
and away the
different.
favorite.
Everybody's
And on the
fresh.
Republican side, Congressman John James.
It's
as
just
president
different.
They got a
of
zero
He's
tolerance
facing off
on
against Terry
like,
Johnson,
or
who has
like,
spent a
you know,
lot
being
of
bullying.
like,
They don't put up with it. You're
they
out.
police see up how you said one of the people, somebody staff see somebody playing.
The way I see it is there's a kid standing in the shadow waiting to take the spot.
Yeah.
Three of them.
For real.
So,
Because everybody's trying to get
They,
the kids
they
out.
don't tolerate nothing, and he thinks that it's going to be similar to what he's used to. It's not ghetto down big, I promise.
Yeah, let's head over to
But
Kansas where the polls just closed.
These are new girls, so you gotta look
They
fresh.
have their best chance to flip a governor's mansion in November. State Senate President Ty Masterson, who has President Trump's endorsement in the Republican primary, NBC News can project that
Yeah,
he
Jones got him in
will be the
jujitsu,
winner of
so
that
he's
race.
learning to whoop
President
ass.
Trump
I
That's why he
feel sorry for
He ain't
the
worried
kids
about.
that
He ain't
fuck
worried
with
about no
him.
kids talking about it now.
No, and he's pretty damn good, let me tell you. When he first started, he was getting taken down, now he's taking motherfuckers down left and right.
The governor there.
He's catching on pretty damn
Again, we're
quick.
seeing that moderate progressive divide, Howard.
Yeah, well, talk about the moderate progressive divide. Big comment right here in Missouri. This is really interesting, one that a lot of people have been watching. This rematch between Congressman Wesley Bell, the incumbent, and former Congressman Cory Bush, progressive. Look, We are projecting now Wesley Bell wins that district in Missouri. Bell way outspending Bush's campaign.
I used to love getting
He's
her
back
stuff. I don't know what his problem is
Jeffries, for
lately.
example, she was back by Senator Bernie
Get to school and see them girls. See them girls.
Yeah,
I gotta keep a haircut.
You gotta keep your hair right.
They really keep their hair.
First impressions are everything.
They keep their
See,
stuff
you're new,
fresh.
you're considered what expression means.
For
You're
real.
new.
For real.
Everybody's
How you
gonna
be
want
viewed
to
is how you
do.
walk through the doors. How people gonna judge you.
Doing their thing there at the big board. We're going to have plenty from them coming up throughout the night as we take a look at these races. Again, vote is coming in basically every
The girls
second.
love
We're
it,
going to be
too.
getting into all of it with our team who's here with us in the studio too. Our chief Capitol Hill correspondent Ryan Novus is with us. Our chief White House correspondent Karen Hake as well. And Kristen mentioned some of these candidates on the Republican side endorsed by President Trump. You got to think the White House is as locked in on tonight as the rest of us are.
Yeah, they're watching this closely. President Trump was just in Michigan a week ago campaigning alongside John James and Mike Rogers. These are folks who, in Rogers' case, shared the ticket with Trump in 2024 and significantly underperformed the president. So they're going to need a presidential boost here. And I think they also, by the way, we'll get much deeper in this as we go along, they're among the people rooting for Abdul al-Sayed here tonight. They want to try to use a candidate on the left to turn out base voters who might not vote without Donald Trump on the top line.
Yeah, so Ryan, pick up on that point, because this is the big debate right now inside the Democratic, quite frankly, inside the Republican Party as well. If Abdul al-Sayed can pull out a victory tonight, is he in fact able to?
The Raising Cane's mega room, 4 chicken fingers, fries, toast, slaw, and kick sauce. And a limited edition pink sparkly Cloud 9 cup.
When are we going to get those?
Duh. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, 1 love.
I found that comfort boosts confidence. And with KY Ultra Gel, that comfort feels natural. In this chapter of my life, I feel more in tune with what I want and more confident going after it. The best is yet to come.
Bauer, Pittsburgh, and U.S. General are showing up in homes and garages across America. It's because they're as good as the other top name brands. They just cost a lot less. 3 trusted names, all in one place. Only at Harbor Freight.
Mike Rogers says he's feeling pretty good if it's al-Sayed, but the implications of that, could that have a boomerang effect?
Yeah, the Democrats that I talk to, at least the establishment Democrats that I talk to, they are not excited about the idea of Abdul al-Sayed being their nominee, but they're also not freaking out about it. I think every time you talk to a Democrat about the midterms, everything comes back to Donald Trump's approval rating. And they say that in many respects, all of these Democratic candidates are going to be running against that 30% approval rating, particularly candidates that have been endorsed by Donald Trump, and almost every candidate that makes it to a general election has been endorsed by Donald Trump. So they feel like even though someone like al-Sayed might be able to be tagged a bit easier with the socialism, quickly into communism moniker, whether or not that's true or not, by the White House and Republicans, I don't think it's enough to overcome
Is that a piece of
the
Velcro?
baggage that's being carried by these Republican candidates.
That's exactly what it is.
That's smart. I've never seen that.
Yeah, but the barber that created that got rich and
Who's going to win the general
it
election?
keeps the, you see what it does. It's exactly
Yeah.
what it is. Keep the
On
hair
that
up
small
out
hair,
there.
you can't put it in a ponytail.
It doesn't like sticks to the hair. Well, it kind of sticks, but it doesn't. When you pull it away,
How much are those little
it
pieces?
doesn't hurt like $5. And the crazy part, a whole bunch of different companies making it now. But at first, it was just this one that I got. You know, the first one. The barber who created that,
you want to vote for. The progressive movement right now is saying,
I don't think he had to cut hair no more.
let's vote for the people who have something that we believe in. And al-Sayed has positioned himself as that candidate, as the guy who's going to go out there and say, not just against Donald Trump, but I'm for getting money out of politics. I'm for Medicare for all. I'm going to put these things on the table and basically dare the more moderate Democrats to sit back and vote, or not vote at all when Trump in the future is on the line. That's his bet. And I think you can make the argument, ask Vice President Harris how easy it is to is making that other play here, saying, well, I'll get the moderates back because they want to beat Donald Trump, but I can bring in progressives.
There's also this question of like,
the uniqueness of the candidate in and of itself, right? Somebody like Abdul Sayed, who's, people praise the fact that he can be very authentic. He comes across as having a lot of charisma and all this and that, and done a lot of public appearances. Authenticity. Yeah, that's right. We talk all the time. Yeah, authenticity. That was part of Donald Trump. That's exactly right. And then you see voters craving that, really. But like, you can't pay every progressive candidate or every minority. That's very important. Those falling out where they stand on every policy position. Right. I mean, we've seen. There was an example today in the Wisconsin governor's race about a progressive candidate who probably falls in line with many of the same things that Abdul Sayed had a very rocky interview where she was forced to defend her suggestion that we should cancel Thanksgiving. That's not a position you're ever going to find Abdul Sayed. He is very well spoken. He understands the issues, but he also understands a way to articulate positions that may not necessarily be mainstream in a way that you could make an argument that they should be mainstream. Medicare for All is a perfect example.
When you're hurt like that, it brings your facial structure out.
Medicare for All was a radical position. The idea that the government would pay for everyone's health care was something Republicans went to great pains.
You can just get up out of bed and bam, you look nice.
Obamacare became super controversial.
That's the gift boys have.
By the time the next election rolled around, it was a price of entry into the Democratic primary field. It will probably be a price of entry going forward. Medicare for All is no longer a radical position. In many ways, it is the position of the Democratic Party, and it's increasingly becoming a position of many Americans, both moderate and Democrat.
Okay, well guys, let's hit the pause button. We want to go out to Sahil, who is at Wesley Bell's headquarters, where again, as Hallie just said, NBC News is projecting that he has won his rematch against Cori Bush. What's the reaction there, Sahil?
Well, Kristen, I'm at Wesley Bell headquarters here in St. Louis. He has won the race. We've called it for him. There's no sign of him. His campaign hasn't reacted. I'm not sure they were prepared for how quickly this was going to be called. They have been confident. They have felt good all day, and I spoke to Wesley Bell
Is that a
earlier when he
7FC
voted,
blade?
earlier today.
Is that a 7FC?
Voting booth.
No,
But
no.
I don't know that they expected this kind of a crushing victory. We actually broke the news to one member of his team that Wesley Bell had been projected the winner by our decision desk. So
Well,
this is
technically
quite
it's
a
the same.
remarkable victory.
I'm a
Look at the
dog
numbers on
groomer,
the
so I
screen
know
there.
that way by heart. On dog grooming blades, it's 7FC. That's the same size. I just got done using that motherfucker at home.
Has resonated in other state blue districts in the country with Democratic voters. She called for cutting off U.S. funding, U.S. aid to Israel. Wesley Bell, this is a real contrast. He voted to protect it just recently in the House of Representatives. Cori Bush also sees her role as a bit more of an activist. When she was in the House, she was part of the squad that pressured Democratic leadership from the left. Wesley Bell has been much more aligned with Democratic leadership. So the Cori Bush message didn't work here, and I'll give you one potential hint as to why. She was dominated on the airwaves by Wesley Bell and his allies by 27-1, according to Ad Impact. Even if she had the message, she didn't have the money to get it out, it seems.
Well, it is fascinating, and again, one of the big progressive versus moderate matchups, and again, a rematch. So it was significant, and she had the endorsement of Senator Sanders. All right, Sahil, thank you so much for that.
And so interesting to see. You can tell it's something. Let me go back to Steve at the big board now, because Steve, I mean, listen, decisive for Wesley Bell in that district is a lucky that one too.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I remember being here 2 years ago in this primary when Bell went after Bush. That was a very close race here. Bush, obviously, her affiliation with the squad, she's been a national figure. And the story of that race 2 years ago is this district is split between St. Louis, the city of St. Louis, and then right over here, these are the inner suburbs of St. Louis County, some of them St. Louis County. And the story then had been Bell was strong in St. Louis County, Bush was strong in the city of St. Louis, but take a look at what we're seeing so far. St. Louis County, no big surprise. I mean, Bell getting more than 3/4 of the vote right there. But go over to the city of St. Louis, and you see Bell ahead. It's not as decisive, but we do see a solid margin. At least this is early vote. The final margin may end up not being quite this dominant here. Bush may do better. I think she will do better with the election day vote. But you see it extending across county lines, and this split with the early vote is not something you saw in 2024 when these two candidates ran against each other and Bell won in a close race. And so, yeah, it kind of bucks the trend that we've been seeing. How many primary nights have you been up here, particularly in city districts, you know, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., the mayoral election, New York City, that's where we've been seeing work. Bush doing worse than she did 2 years ago when she lost the seat, and Bell, certainly the establishment candidate here, based on his endorsements, his backing his campaign, securing a seat.
Question tonight, Steve, would we see a sweep for progressive candidates? Would there be a patchwork? This is certainly a loss for progressives, for Senator Bernie Sanders, who endorsed her, and of course the big race, the big marquee race that we're watching, the Michigan Senate race. Bring us up to speed there. What's the very latest you're seeing?
Yeah, let's take a look back up in Michigan, and I'm going to just have to go after this. Okay, so again, about 20% of the vote here is in statewide. This looks about what it looked like the last time we checked in terms of the margin there for Al Sayed over Stevens. I think there's a lot here. Zoom in on Wayne County. So Wayne County, where Detroit is, you'll hear me say this a lot tonight. A fifth of the vote statewide is coming out of Wayne. We only have 2% of the vote right now, so there's not much to be read into that. And what there is from Detroit, largely from Detroit, what you're looking at right now. But Wayne, keep in mind, is not just Detroit, okay? There are inner suburbs in here. There's also, this is where Dearborn is. Dearborn is the first majority Arab American city in the United States. There's 110,000 residents in Dearborn. Abdul Sayed ran for governor in 2018. He won Dearborn big. Dearborn Heights, very similar demographically. That's in here. Hamtramck is a majority Muslim city. That's a place where Al Sayed did very well in 2018. They are all also in Wayne County. There's also a lot of other places in here too. So there's a diversity in here. In some of those cities that I expect Al Sayed to do very well tonight. But the opportunity, and this may take a while for us to see, and we'll see how it shakes out in other places around the state if it comes to it. But the opportunity for Stevens, we're saying, is in the city of Detroit, because the polling has been indicating that black support is very strong for her. And we said Detroit is 3/4 black. And this is an opportunity. If she can run up the score in Detroit among black voters, she could get a big number out of there. She could get a big number out of Wayne County. That could carry her a long way. In terms of looking at where black support really can swing, a primary, or at least loom large in the primary, there aren't a ton of counties where there's a very significant black population. Another place we'll look tonight, though, that does have a pretty large black population is Genesee County. This is where the city of Flint is. We don't have any votes coming in right there yet. There is a substantial black population in Saginaw, too. We don't have many votes coming in right there. So from a Stevens standpoint, we'll be looking at those places, but really going to be looking at Detroit as the night progresses, because I do think it's been interesting in some of these counties, the degree to which we're seeing this difference between the election day vote and how overwhelming it's going for Al Sayed and that vote by mail, and how strong that's going for Stevens. In a place like this, I'm just checking in because we're slowly getting more and more updates here. What's been happening in this county, this is sort of the suburbs of Lansing here, outside of Lansing, a little bit of Lansing's in here too, but it's largely outside Lansing. This number for Stevens has been ticking up all night because basically what happened was they counted the election day vote. Al Sayed got a huge number on here. Now as the vote by mail has been coming in, as this percent in has been ticking up, so has Stevens' number. And so what we were looking at the start of the night here were numbers for Stevens that were like, whoa, these are, I don't see actually the will with these numbers. But if this number can continue to tick up for her, that could get interesting out of a place like Eaton County. Also, same thing here, the same thing has been happening in Livingston County. This is the fastest growing, one of the fastest growing counties in Michigan. It's big, there's like 200,000 people here. This is like the exurbs of Detroit right here, okay? It's very high income too. We expected Stevens to have maybe an opportunity here to do well. Well, she looked like she was getting clobbered early, because we got the election day vote was counted right away. Al Sayed looked way ahead, but as the vote by mail has been coming in, getting more vote in, and that Stevens number has been ticking up more and more, where it's not looking as much for her like the disaster it initially did. And so to the extent that can continue in places like that, and another place we're looking here is around Grand Rapids, I say Saginaw, to the extent that can continue, that's a huge question. It heightens the stakes for what I just outlined in Detroit.
Okay, Steve Kornacki, we will check back in with you in just a few minutes in that hotly contested race.
What's so interesting here too, the Wellington team, is like, the risk of painting with the broad brush, right? Like, if you look at this race in Michigan, You look at where Abdullah Sayed is right now, at least in some of the numbers. We'll see how the night goes for him. But you look at Jocelyn Benson in the governor's race, right? Like a very different kind of candidate who's also got, I mean, we projected that, right? Statewide support. You look at somebody Jocelyn Benson has backed in Michigan 11. We've just actually projected that Jeremy Moss is going to win that seat, or win that primary, I should say. This is a, +9 Democratic district, so this is one that was sort of interesting in the primary. Establishment versus anti-establishment, etc. His opponent had been backed by Ro Khanna, for example, somebody who's running with the halls of Congress often. So I do think it all speaks to this idea that, like, there are many flavors of Democrats, right, that we're seeing sort of unfolding.
I also think it's still early looking at these numbers, but I think it's instructing us that Al-Sayed is a unique candidate unto himself. He might not necessarily be reflective of a movement as much as he is someone that's made a connection with the voters of Michigan. Because I have to tell you, I was talking to some Republican congressional consultants today who were hopeful that Al-Sayed's coattails were going to bring along these more controversial, DSA-aligned, progressive candidates in these House races. And so far, that's just not manifesting itself. They were hopeful that progressive would win in the 10th congressional district. They believe Lawrence had a shot. Bill Lawrence had a shot at winning in what is going to be a very tight race as well. That's just not happening. And so what that tells you is that people are going into the voting booths. They're voting for Al-Sayed, they're happy to take it, but then they're picking a more mainstream candidate further down.
And I do think it's worth just taking a step back and putting this into broader context.
Step us back.
Senator Sanders has endorsed a number of candidates tonight. This is his first loss, the fact that Cori Bush lost, but I believe we have a graphic of the 4 different candidates that he's endorsed. So Al-Sayed, obviously Garrett being one of the biggest names that we're watching, but William Lawrence, what's going to happen with that race, and this idea.
Sanders, I thought he died.
No. That was Schumer.
Bernie Sanders has put his imprimatur on dozens of candidates over the last couple of years. Some very quickly forgotten when they lose. The Missouri race, I think, is a good
Sanders retired.
Cori Bush, we were watching that race very closely.
He said he's going to still try to run for president.
She was plagued by scandal during her time on
He did such a terrible job the first time. We would be stupid to give it back.
That kind of stuff's like constituent service.
But he had the momentum for a minute.
Still now, so it can be very easy to fake really broad.
I would have voted for Bernie before I voted for the other.
Much more closer than we are. There are long memories about those kinds of issues.
And the only thing in that race that I think is important to point out, in many of these progressive insurgency campaigns, what's one of the most common barometers of the establishment pick that is top, often the incumbent? It's an age issue.
Well, so that's not an issue.
They say Donald Trump gonna run
He is
again.
by all standards, aside from the Israel issue, I know you had AIPAC.
Have you heard the little saying he's supposed to be the last president?
Progressive candidate and progressive.
Yeah, they really, and it's starting to make this. I'm not saying it's coming true yet, but it's kind of like it's starting to make sense. Like they gonna do something else. They ain't gonna let nobody else come in behind like what Trump did.
You know what?
To be honest, because it was an interesting one here, right? Because you got Bill Fair, obviously, we're watching that one.
And I don't mean to offend nobody, but Trump,
You got Cori Bush, but like
he says he's gonna fucking do something that
He does it.
He's a man of his word.
Generationally, Don McKinney, there's another.
And since he's been in office, there's a lot of stuff that he's done to change
Not simply
and make it better.
For real.
And everyone keeps trying to say that he's
Making everything worse.
worse and this, and he's the only motherfucker that made change.
For real.
He didn't fucking talk shit about it. He fucking
did it.
did it.
He did it.
There's not one president who got up in there and did it.
And that's why I was telling, we got a big thing on YouTube that it's more people that like Trump that dislike him. And the ones that dislike him, them just the Democrats trying to gain more power and
You know what? I feel
take
like,
over take over the House.
I'm just gonna say this. I feel Democrats are a part of the LGBTQ community.
The push.
Yeah,
community. come alive.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
It is.
they're offering, you know what? I worked the voting polls, and let me tell you, in November, I was so fucking disappointed. So disappointed because I was assistant supervisor.
For real?
So my job was to help people gain access to vote.
Yeah. So you had to go out.
And I had to like stay there and help young people that were trying to vote for the first time get ready.
Fill out their ballots and stuff.
Yeah, and let me tell you, I'm really disappointed in the black community.
Why you say that?
Because a lot of them were young and didn't know a fucking thing about what's going on, and were being guided by family members. And
they don't even know what's going on.
And they don't even know what's going on. They just said fuck Trump.
Exactly.
So,
but that's the perception that they have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But that's the ignorance.
Yeah.
That's the ignorance.
Stupidity
Or why
behind
you're
it,
in
behind
this fucking
everything.
situation in the first place.
But it's something that the Democrats did to make a lot of the elders of our older generation, make them feel like they was a part of politics. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't talk about my political. You know,
I don't like doing it either because people get upset.
I am a black Republican. I got Donald Trump flags in front of my house. I tell people.
I'll just say this. I agree with some things the Republicans are doing, and I don't agree with some things the Republicans are doing.
Because there's really no such thing as two parties.
Yeah.
It's one party, two ideologies.
Yeah.
And two agendas.
And no matter what fucking color you choose, it's still already chosen.
It is. It really is. And they really don't. It ain't about color when you make it to the
It's
upper
just they're making us feel like we gotta fucking vote, and we really don't.
It's the money. Our vote don't mean nothing.
Yeah.
It don't matter if all 300 million of us voted for that one person.
Yeah.
None of us are electors. And they give that to the older politicians and city councilmen. Like, every city got people that hold electoral vote. But it's individuals that's supposed to make a vote collectively for all of us.
I think that we would be better off as a country if we didn't have one fucking leader. If we had four, because there's a majority vote there.
Exactly.
So if something needs to be voted on, like we need to make a decision, like war, there's a vote. It's not
Yeah,
just
people
some
make the
person
final
and their
decision.
motherfucking pride.
For real.
So we wouldn't be in that situation with Bush and the fucking Afghanistan and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Because that's what this is doing. It's repeating history all over again.
Yeah,
And it's
because
just,
I believe that one person should not have that much power.
and it's all, if you think about it from our generation, it's all about, it's always been about Iran.
Yeah, it is.
But they had to knock down they little naproxy, they little, you know, they little friend, they how you say, they allied countries that would fought with them. All the ones that was back to back with them, they knocked them out one by one.
Yeah.
The biggest move that they made was Syria.
Yeah.
Recently, when they took Syria, that's what gave them all the, how do you say, the momentum to think that they could take Iran out.
Yeah.
And that was a dangerous move. But Iran, we look at the tell the truth, they done embarrassed us for the last 6 months. We still ain't took nothing, we still ain't made it nothing, and they ain't breaking, and they said, if y'all want to keep fighting, we gonna fight to the end. But Iran ain't letting go like that. Iran is not Gaza.
Thank you.
Iran is a full country with military might, and it goes all the way down to the trigger of the people.
And they're ruthless.
The people will die before they
And it's
let
so
other
crazy
people
because
conquer them like that.
This is what it's going to come down to here, and they're really
No, they people was with it. They standing in the middle of the
Yeah, but they're
road
out there
in front
throwing
of
them for suicide.
Yeah, but they don't know. They are with it because they believe if they lose, their whole existence will be completely wiped out. And we go back into the history of India, how do you say I'm sorry? We go back to the history of them. That's Persian. The Persians, they never killed them, they never destroyed them, they just pushed them back.
Yeah.
And they retreated and they just stayed in their peace. But they always say that they had to, you know, they have to get rid of them in order for them to rule everybody. Because that's that one little group of people that shows the world they ain't as tough as y'all think they are. They can't, you know.
Well, my thing is, I don't understand why y'all can't stay in your fucking corner.
They are not guaranteed in
Like,
backing Alia.
I'm not over here trying to take over your shot. I stay on my fucking corner.
But this is the thing. That's our, how do you say, media lying to us about the narrative of the whole argument. It's all about conquer and control. The same way they conquered and controlled us over here in America and everything around it. They even finna make Canada bow down. Canada's finna become a united territory.
They don't join the us.
Pressure. They finna take Cuba, make that, and it's gonna be pressure for ourselves. You know what I mean? No water, no food, no.
Yeah, I feel the dark
makes
times
people-
coming.
No, it's not dark. It's just gonna be greater for America.
Okay, my takeaway from
You know what I mean? He's really
But
pushing.
you know what? We got, I know you agree with me. We got so fucking lucky that
Let's go
we were
back to
able to keep
Burnett.
war off of our house.
You're getting some new numbers.
Or off our land.
Yeah, so now
There's
take a look
gonna
here.
be
The
a
big
day
here,
they're
we've got
coming.
70% of the
They're
vote.
coming for
Remember,
us.
we were 60% of what
Yes,
it was.
they
Last time we
are.
checked,
One
it
thing
was
about it,
10%.
remember, we
And the bottom
sold
line is it
Israel
looks
their
like they did before here with
self-defense
Stevens,
system.
you know, a little bit
Yeah,
less
but
than
You'll be
220
surprised
grand
when it pop out
outside.
in
We're
your
trying to figure out, I
backyard.
mean, this is what it comes to.
America's
Michigan Governor is
already
trying to discern
ready.
exactly what
That's
type
what
of
Joel
all-
said. That's
for
what
all-
Joel said
for
too.
all smoke.
being
I
so
swear,
bad,
especially up here.
Let's-
From the
let's
Valencia,
citizens, we carry
this is
you.
above sea level. We can shoot all the way to Russia from up here.
Yeah.
This is that's one thing they do, and they know it.
Sorry if you're watching.
That we have military defense in the ground.
Yeah.
Before they even let communities move in, they had already built the defense system underneath the ground, and it's disclosed information. People got houses with missiles in their backyard that don't know that proof and just come out the ground and shoot. And you'll be like, what? Especially up here. All throughout. All this used to be military testing. This all used to be government land.
Meaning,
All the way down to Salt Sea. Before it was a Salt Sea. Before it was, if people don't know the history of the high desert of California, they're doing nuclear test sites right out there on the other side of Port Irwin right now. Right now.
That might mean higher on election day.
But it's that deep, it's that, you know, deep up here. People don't know that America is ready for all that type of stuff.
Turnout is more than was projected. Is that the
I know the
TLDR?
citizens
Yeah,
are.
that's what that could be, and
We're
that's
so
what we're
fucking
seeking to get
violent.
clarification of. But that's often
You know what? When I say it like this, because I used to be a
That
Marine,
is interesting.
the citizens ain't ready.
Just recap big picture, not Oakland County,
What the government
any
got for
other
us,
counties.
y'all think these
with
roadways
any
are for our
councils
cars
the
and
last
for us to
10
travel and
Yeah, the
passport?
other big
That's
batch
a
we just got was
military
next door in
defense
Washington County.
When they tell you to stay in the house, come out and find out what the streets are really made.
Ann Arbor right here, sort of the liberal heart of.
Do you see how they moving in, like, in Israel right now?
I hear how they're moving.
Everything on those roads are grown by drones. And if you walk on it, boom!
Right here.
They ain't killing people with missiles. They got kids in a room. Chasing people down. Blowing them up.
If there was, I don't know, some type of terrorist threat that was coming onto our land,
The terrorist threat?
I think we would be.
The terrorist threat is when
It's just that the establishment
they escalate this war and start doing drafts, and they escalate into the third, into the primary year of election. We cannot have an election in the middle of a progress war.
33%.
Really?
This is what I'm telling you about the last president and the democracy and how it's going to kick off.
Yes.
They're going to have to
You
push
should
martial
be
law.
more alive.
They're going to have to push the button and say martial law to stop it all, but that's when the people ain't going. But that's when the military going
I
to
know
show
I'm
us.
not ready for
They ain't
it.
gonna show us with them streets and how all the military defense system was all this was a system, and guess who created it? Hitler. This is what they went and stole from Hitler when they killed him. He had the military military defense system, and he wouldn't sell it to nobody. That was the whole premise of Hitler being the dictator. And no, he said we'll come over here and build it for y'all, but we won't sell it, and we won't give you the land. And the people behind him, the Jewish people, traded on him, sold America the land. They switched on him, came over here to
I
America.
think Hitler was onto something. Them motherfuckers are evil.
No, the people that was behind him was evil.
The two now head to a rematch.
They got like a lot of stories about Hitler that still haven't came out. And one of the darkest stories that we done heard so far is that Hitler was black.
Inside your strategy, looks like you've got a rematch.
Wouldn't that change the whole narrative
What's your
of the whole
strategy
talk?
to be to win?
They say Hitler was black and he was the last empire of the great dynasty. And we ain't, none of us is old enough to know the difference.
The Jewish people because they're raping kids.
And they all was behind him.
And they're still fucking doing it.
She went as far as saying that members of Congress
They're
should be able to inside stock
So,
trading. So that's one of the
I know
biggest
you've
things.
seen
I think you'll see
Rugrats,
the-
right?
The shift, and you're
Okay,
just
well,
talking
I'm
about the
going
shift
back
in
and I'm
Democratic
watching
Party
from
to the
season
far
one
left, to the socialist
to the
side
end.
of it.
How much Jewish shit? Did you know that they're Jewish?
You know, open borders.
I didn't know they were
law enforcement,
Jewish.
Funding the military, letting prisoners do
Friends.
transgender surgeries.
They're
for
Jewish
minors.
and
And there's all
American.
kinds of
Friends.
reasons that Americans should really be
All
scared
the
right now
talk
watching
shows,
the progression of
Charlie
the Democrats
Sheen,
move to the left.
Yeah.
And, you know,
all of
I've
those
been
people, we've been watching these
representing
people for
this
years
district
and they
in
Jews,
Congress. I served in the state
Yes.
Senate for
And
The
ever
whole
since
narrative.
that Epstein bullshit came out, I can't watch shows without finding those subliminal hidden messages.
But
Like
this,
very
it's
good.
truly there though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And thinking about the cost, I'm a mom who runs a family and things are expensive. We can acknowledge that. We have a military to support, veterans to support, healthcare to fix. There's a lot more work to do, and I have the privilege of having served for 4 years. Look forward to continuing to do that.
Let me ask you this, and you talk about your,
He thinks
obviously,
everything's
community
my
service,
fault.
your
I'm just trying to
opponent
prepare
having
him.
community service as well.
You'll thank me later.
When it comes
now
to
it looks
President
10 times
Trump,
better.
I think it was just yesterday, so
I
you
like
have
it
his
this way.
complete and total endorsement, so a full-throated endorsement from you from the president. Is that an endorsement
Watch.
you welcome?
When you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 girls looking at you,
I damn it, count.
You think he's playing?
he's wearing a uniform, dude. He's wearing a uniform. He looks fresh.
Yes,
He looks so fresh. And he's got that nice little white baby boy face.
As a military veteran, I know this
I already
district,
have
veteran
girls
issues are
looking
important
at
to us,
him
but
when we
there's
go to
so
the
many
store
other
and
issues.
shit.
We have other issues. We
Little
have
girls
businesses
just sitting there
to support.
copping a
We have
beat.
families to keep safe. We
And
have
then
a
he's
border
like,
to keep
are you
secure.
scared? And
He lying.
he's
You know
making
he's
faces at
lying.
him.
So we don't know
You
the
know he's
track record
lying.
and the work that we've done as a Republican conference in Congress.
He
but
don't
as the
know
work
that.
I've done for the past
He
7 years of
doesn't
my
want
life,
to
and
see it,
even
but
before that,
he
serving the
is.
country, serving my community,
He
serving
really
my
is,
He
family.
used to get bullied
This
by
is
the
the
little
record.
black girls at his old school.
So
They
here
used
you
to
see
beat
you
his
welcome
ass.
all
And that was because they liked him.
That was because they liked
That
him.
was
They
only
all
because they liked
liked
him.
him.
And he didn't know how to catch on.
chocolate
He didn't know how to catch on to it. All he had to do was make one on his girlfriend and the rest of them would have left him alone.
This is going to be a fight.
She'd have been ready to fight.
My
wife was
That's
all you gotta do, man.
Conservative, it's really
all
about
you gotta
that
do,
common
man.
sense. It really
You don't have to be a, you don't have to be a girlfriend. Just tell her that's what a girlfriend is. And see how
He
she's
gets along with females way better than he does boys.
As a person who loves this country, who has served this country, to be running against people who are anti-American, who are anti-capitalist, and who don't support the things like keeping our communities safe, supporting law enforcement, supporting our military. So there's some stark contrast that we need to be highlighting all the way up to November.
Let me get you to respond.
all you gotta
to
do is
your
look at him
opponent,
and smile,
Congressman
just be
Lori
ready.
said, and I'll read you a little bit of this quote from the former Congressman Jen Kagan. Federal promised to make that voice in Washington, voting 100% of the time with Donald Trump to raise prices on working families, on everything from healthcare premiums to gas prices. How do you respond to that, given the fact that prices are up, gas above $4 a gallon in many places?
Well, that's just not true. Donald Trump hasn't voted in Congress last time I checked. But what we have done is prioritize ways that we can save families money and reducing that federal tax burden. What we did with the Working Families Tax Plan with no tax on tips and overtime and increasing the child tax credit, codifying those federal tax breaks. Those are the ways that we could work in Congress to make sure you're keeping more of your hard-earned money. So when we're fighting here in Virginia, a state government, we have Abigail Spanberger, who is a new governor who proposed 51 tax increases right off the bat, who's increased our electric rates, who said that she wouldn't gerrymander the Commonwealth and then turned right around and made that a priority. So we're fighting a government here in Virginia that's really working hard to
The
keep
government
prices
didn't go
high.
up on our utility rates.
I have
Edison
four
did.
children, I
And y'all let them.
drive, I have a car that I have to put gas into, so
So I know that that's a priority of mine. We continue to talk about affordability, and I too am a grocery shopper and pay those bills as well. We've done work in Congress to lower things like housing prices and to make sure, again, you're keeping more of your hard-earned money, but there's more work to do.
But very quickly, have you ever voted against the president's policies? Do you disagree with them anywhere?
We as a Republican Congress and led by the President in the White House have certainly gotten the country on a much better track than it was on. We think about where we were under Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi. We moved forward in this country. Government is challenging and it's difficult, but it's good. It's a privilege to be able
all that
to
trash,
sit at
but
that conservative common sense table. But when we think about, especially my friends, the Biden administration on the world was less safe, our borders are wide open. We think the policy priorities of people like Nancy Pelosi, who my opponents supported, those are the stark contrast differences. So is it perfect? No. Is there work to do? Yes. But I have the privilege of sitting on the right side of the aisle. We prioritize the needs of American families every day.
Congresswoman Kiggins, thank you so much for joining us and for taking time out of what I know
He
is
stayed up all
a busy
night.
and important night for you as we all crank the gears towards November. Thank you very
I
much.
don't wake up till 3.
We want to bring in now somebody else from Virginia, Shannon Taylor, who was noted earlier. And
Trying to sleep that last couple days.
Oh no, it's 9 o'clock bedtime tonight.
Also a busy night.
What time do they gotta go? What time they gotta go to school?
He's got to get up at 7 a.m. and be there before 7.
It has also, in the last couple of years, it seems, swung to the left to a degree.
That's a lot better than 7. Remember, we used to go to school around, we used to go to sleep around 7 to 8.
That's Jay. He's supposed to go to 8.
Yeah, that's my niece, my brother put her in every night
for almost 15 years. I've been sure to make sure that the priority
Like 7, 8 years old now. She goes to
is what we do every day.
He used to nap till
We
he
are
was
out there
7.
holding people accountable for the harms that they are
When
putting
you have
on the
if
victims
you
of
ever
crime.
decide to have a kid,
And right now, what we see is the
I don't know if
harm
you have
coming
any,
out
but
of
if you
corrupt
decide to have a kid,
Washington, D.C.
the most important
And we
thing that
see
you
Rob
can do
Whitman
is give them
being
a
the
structured
beneficiary
routine.
of that corruption.
So
And
every
because
day
of
they get up at
his
this time
special
and you wake
interest,
them up if they
because
try to
of
sleep past
his
that.
voting
Yeah.
on
You
bills
get them
and
up,
policies
they watch
to
TV
support
from this
his
time to this
corporate
time,
interest,
and then
those
playtime
direct
from this
policies
time to
that
this time,
harming the
and then
during the first
food at
congressional
this
district.
time, and then
I
right
mean,
after
he
food is
certainly
always a
has
1-hour
allowed
nap.
his
I don't give a
network
fuck
to
if you go
up
to
to
sleep,
40
your ass is
times
gonna lay
since
in
I've
that
been
bed
Congress
for an hour.
20 years.
And then
And we
usually
know
by
that he
week
has been,
2,
dealing
they're
with
all-
stocks
they're
over
sleeping.
2.5
They're
million, and he
sleeping
gave himself one
by
of the
that
biggest
time.
tax credits, if not the biggest tax break
So
in that budget
it's
bill.
just a
So
routine, you
we're
gotta
out
get
there
the
talking to
structure on.
voters, whether they're Democrats,
Besides all the
Republicans, or independents,
crazy-
because they are all suffering that harm of that rise in costs. And that rise in costs is a direct result of the corruption in D.C. So we will continue the message that we were conveying to the people in the 1st Congressional District. We will continue with that message to prosecute that case against Rob Whitman and make sure that we defeat him in November.
Let me ask you a question. We are watching these battles play out in the Democratic Party between moderates and progressives in your state. In Michigan, of course, the big Senate race there, Abdul Al-Sayed. Is he someone that you welcome into the Democratic Party? Do you think he, if he does in fact win tonight, has a shot at winning in the general?
You know, I do my job today without asking any victim if they're a Democrat or Republican or an independent. And that to me is what is important, is to speak to every voter in the 1st Congressional District to find out what is the harm that this corrupt Washington has done to them. That to me is what is the most important thing for me to do between now and November, is touching every voter here in the 1st Congressional District to let them know that I'm going to go to D.C. and represent them. That's why I came up with an anti-corruption agenda, to make sure that we were going to be banning the corporate PAC money. We wanted to stop that stock trading while you're in Congress. I want to come up with to take off that Congress to lobbying firm pipeline, impose term limits, actually talk about imposing jail time for politicians who are stealing taxpayer dollars. That's what we're talking about out there in the 1st Congressional District, and that's what I'm focusing on to November.
All right, Shannon Taylor, we will watch it all unfold. Thank you so very much for joining us.
Thank you so much. Everyone can join me at shannontaylorva.com.
All right, that's our first one of the night. Because you've heard her obviously calibrate her message very careful. answers for both of those candidates as they turn their sights towards
And I think it's because of where
He said, what is this stuff? Ask
and so I would be remiss and I can answer.
That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a
What is that?
First, let me talk about Shannon Taylor.
Yeah.
I covered her
He
first
said, what is it? Ask
as attorney.
It works. Yeah, that means it works.
Yeah, wait till you start shaving your face.
It's working.
Shannon Taylor took on the Republican establishment in Markham County, which at that time was dominated. You remember the Cantor, he was a House Majority Leader at that time. He ran in Markham County. There hadn't been a Republican elected Commonwealth attorney since 1987 when she won that race. A Democrat, I'm sorry, it's been controlled by the Republican. At that point in this race, the longtime incumbent had decided to step down and not seek re-election. And there was a handful of last years field a candidate because they thought they had no shot. That candidate from the Republican Party ended up with some personal issues that started to creep its way into the race. The Republicans attempted to pull him out of the race. At that point, Democrats said, we should probably find someone to run. And it was Shannon Taylor that they picked at the time. She overcame a massive disadvantage. Not only did
How
they
much are your
race
bottles
late,
of,
but a huge funding advantage that the Republicans
the
had
blue
at that time.
bottles?
The Republican nominee refused to get out of the race. They put in an incumbent, I'm sorry,
What's it?
Republican delegate who ran as an independent, but had the backing of Bill Cantor in that machine. She still won. She hasn't lost a race
Yeah,
for
see, look
since.
at how my eyebrows go up.
The point I'm trying to make here is
I look a little better.
Yeah, you look a lot better. Thank you.
oh, that's what she's doing here. That's right. Has never had any sort of serious competition in Virginia's first congressional district. He doesn't know what it's like to have
There's a
a
phone
candidate
out.
to command a serious race. Now, I would still give him, it's his race to lose still, because it's still a district that leans right. Certainly was a different situation if the redistricting had gone through, but this will be a race. And Shannon Taylor is probably the Democrats' best hope. And also a moderate candidate when someone aggressive.
That background is so interesting.
I was too.
I thought it was fascinating to hear Higgins' answer to Howard's question about do you want them to
That's all they do. And then my neighbor across the street, he got another big ass part of the talking about, and he's trying to push the fire. He's building ramps. Yeah, he's building ramps.
That's right. I mean, Higgins and Elaine Loria, who went out and will face her again. I mean, these are elite candidates, right? I mean, this is always one of the biggest battleground races. These are very well prepared candidates with excellent resumes for their district. And I was scribbling notes really quickly when Higgins was talking because I think she laid out some things that bring in her over and over again, which is negative polarization, right? And for Republicans right now, their best tactic in a lot of these races is to scare the bejesus out of people about Democrats. And she was talking about candidates being scary, anti-American, anti-capitalism. I mean, this is not like they're going to vote against our priorities. This is, these people aren't of this country. She's running against a fellow Navy veteran in this case. I believe Lingler is Navy, Navy, right? So, again, like, I think that is indicative of the kind of races that you see this fall, and a good thing to put opinion on. I'll put one other thing in here. One of the things she said about when Democrats were in control, the world was less safe. She represents a heavily military district.
Military proportion of any district in the country.
That's right. I think that's right. We are a nation at war right now, and a lot of those people in her district are themselves serving overseas right now, and I think that's.
And she really make an effort to bring the war into the conversation, which if it were popular, and especially in a district like that, you think she would have fun.
Just watch that space.
Watch that space because it speaks to the challenge of Republicans right now and to the general, particularly.
This is the youth, man. This ain't got nothing to do with us.
I think we haven't said a certain word in a while. So I think we should, and then we're going to say it, we're going to get back right after here.
Super quick, we're going to get back to Steve Burnett. He's tracking all of it there, the marquee matchup of the night. We're going to also hear potentially from that political Missouri race too, former Congressman Wesley Bell as well. Stick with us. We got much more coming up on NBC News Now.
What's that?
No, he had a snack.
What you want, man? Whatever you want. What you want? Like this one.
Just some Skittles. more, it's not a lot. Yeah. My customers don't tip. They just pay the fucking fee.
I
know. I was looking at the way you were doing it. I'm just terrified of, because I can fuck up a dog and then not bitch about it. But you can't fuck up a human.
show you how to do level height. And you say most women don't
I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to learn. I've been grooming dogs for 2021. COVID. Yeah, I'm very comfortable. I have to pay them up to
And sometimes, and them the cool ones that real, irritated, you gotta fight, you gotta strap them down just to get to them.
Fuck yeah.
But this is a
Welcome back. Steve Kornacki is back for us at the big board. Steve, we've been keeping tabs on what you're watching and what you're looking for, and you got a lot of interesting stuff coming out there in Michigan, specifically,
I did. I read them. I'm very comfortable with my
Well,
coverage.
we're waiting on, I think, but we got about a quarter of the vote statewide. It's a 6.5 point margin here for Al-Sayed over Stevens. We do have, I want to close up this story. I think we started to tell you a little bit ago, but Eaton County, this is a decent sized county.
Yeah.
And
You just gotta know the rhythm
of lancing here. And the interesting thing that's been happening is how much closer it's been getting here in Eaton as the night's going on. And it speaks to, don't mean to be a broken record, but that difference between the legislature coming fast and Al-Sayed way ahead, and the vote by mail has been trickling in with the updates and and then Stevens' number is gone from the place, so of course the night here, where you're looking at initially saying, oh, well, it's Robert here, to like, is she putting herself in the range of where she needs to be to have a real chance at this statewide? You're seeing that in Eaton, you're seeing that, to the east of Lansing and Livingston, we're getting that numbers continue to tick up. I think it's got to tick up more for her, considerabely, but there's more votes to come. And it looks like it is that vote by mail, a lot of that vote by mail that's been so friendly. And so I think the story is kind of taking shape here. There's a lot of questions like that on this map. There's a lot of blanks on this map right now. Okay, like a place like Genesee County, this is a big one. This is where the city of Flint is. This is one of the higher black population counties in Michigan. One of the key ingredients that Stevens is looking for to have a shot tonight is to do extremely well, run up the score with black voters. How does that look?
That's what I get you.
I've done it. I've done it trying to keep out of the
And we got nothing there. We can always show you right now. We don't have much with sagging on either, where it's a bit of a sad story. Whenever it's black population there as well. All of these sort of questions that we're seeing here, the way Stevens has done it, these votes are the bottom. First of all, she can do this, she can do that, she gets a big, all of that is coming around to it. And she answered yes to all those questions. Then what she would need on top of everything else, out of Wayne County, would be big, big numbers. And I think specifically from Detroit, where the population is overwhelmingly black, and where we really have a very small amount of vote right now. What you're looking at is a matter of fact, in Wayne, you see 4% in, that's just about, 12,000 votes counted. One thing we just got in Wayne was an update from the city of
Copy and paste.
Copy and paste. A majority Arab American city in the United States. It's a place where Al-Sayed won huge in 2018. He was losing, he lost the primary statewide for governor in 2018 to Grace Whitmer, but he won big in Dearborn. And so we just got votes from Dearborn, place where we knew he's going to do really well. So we can vote on election day. That's the type of vote he's been doing particularly well with. That's not all his votes, but that's part of the mix we're looking at here. It's outside and friendly. What we're waiting on is what happens in Detroit.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get a style,
with Stevens.
in order to make the style close, you gotta have
together through this
And that's
pathway of,
where
you know,
the
partial
Cosmos,
return,
they
lake
the
counties,
world that they own.
very, very little that's close to complete right now as a
When you
county.
get in the barber
You're
world,
seeing the
experiences
hint of
anything
something
over
from
3 inches to 1,000
Stevens,
to
but
1,000.
there's a lot of motivational.
And let them be able to get
Oh, we don't do that shit here.
Come down to Wayne in 2
We do comedy, but we ain't doing no
The
here.
fact that we're sitting here
I
at
think I could
10
do
o'clock
it. I
Eastern,
just
and we
don't
got 4%
understand
Wayne. This is part
the
of the worst
sizing
for
of the
Wayne
lake.
County.
But and to that point, what I hear you saying is, we may be in for a fairly long night, right? I mean, if that's what it's coming down to.
Okay, yeah, I'm sitting on her sure it's coming down there, because she still has a lot of work to do outside of Wayne County. There's been some encouraging numbers here throughout the night, if you're outside, put this back to the statewide. There've been a lot of encouraging things in these numbers, you know, for outside. So Stevens has got to establish a bunch of things in places that I was just showing you right here, you know, to help them down.
Steve, can you just give us a sense how much of the early vote has been counted yet? Do we have a sense of that?
Actually, if you give me a second, Adam, let me cumulatively have how much early.
Hey, this is our first appearance. There's your extraordinaire. There he is.
We have about 20% of the vote, in-person vote. Early vote, yeah.
But how about the vote by mail?
Oh, the vote by mail is 90%.
So this still, yeah, and that's Stevens' friendly vote, you know?
Yes. Well, and when I talked to them today, they were feeling very confident about the early vote for all the reasons
It's not really
that
even
were laying out, and we will come back to early and often how it. What's so fascinating is obviously those GPs heading into this final stretch, trying to find the interest of like confidence. But you're seeing, I mean, as Steve's saying, in some areas it's getting closer than he was anticipating.
I was just like, I'm so my dog, I'm like,
Getting ready for tonight, and the dynamic from those folks to.
With a sister.
Don't say you in general. I mean, here, and that's actually real, there is, I think, that's actually what Democrats want, a fighter, doesn't matter where you are.
When Steve started redoing the Oakland County percentages earlier to project basically what we think might mean that there are more voters coming in, we don't know who the people are voting for, but that is key to the El Sayed argument here, which is we're going to bring in new people. We're not just going to win over the same fence-sitting, you know, voters who we're talking about to recycle. We're going to activate people who didn't otherwise care about politics. We'll see when the votes are counted. But that is important, again, to the electability argument. Which person whose mind you're trying to read are you talking about? Are you talking about your neighbor who you know how to vote? You're talking about the guy on the street who's never voted at all. What makes them decide to turn out?
And Ryan, to Garrett's point, part of their argument is we're actually going to win over some of the Trump vote.
I was just going to ask you for the
This is the thing though. The whole program is through school. The program is actually free.
I don't think you can pay for a general election before you know the outcome of the primary and get some voters to decide. I think that this race is a 50-50 race. It was a 50-50 race before the primary. It would have been a 50-50 race if Haley Stevens was the nominee. It's a 50-50 race if El Sayed is the nominee. So it's going to be a tough one to win.
But the whole thing, if you got to check the right
I like
the payments,
I have nothing.
it's just like, no, it's just like school. They don't
so much
demand the
for
debt.
Democrats, because they need to do well in Michigan.
By the time you finish, you'll be good enough that you'll already be on the side of the shot. You come to the house. You know what I mean?
Nearly.
And you'll be
No,
able.
I mean, it's not impossible, but it is very,
No,
very
I mean-
difficult. And you can, it would be almost impossible to see a scenario in which they lose a state out of Michigan, but then surprise us in a place like Kansas or Ohio. That math doesn't math. So, I think Michigan, that's the foundation of any path toward the Senate majority.
Reset here. It's 10 o'clock on the East Coast already. At 10 o'clock already. As we continue NBC's special coverage of the biggest primary night remaining before the midterm. So let's get right to the night's marquee matchup in the Democratic primary. We were talking about the Senate of Michigan.
You can all over the ball.
Taking on the establishment
You can do it. You can
Congressman
take the
Haley
time.
Stevens,
But
right now that race
for the
is
state
too
department,
early
I
to
just
call.
stay in my lane. I can keep it
That
all over.
primary will take on former
Oh, yeah.
Republican Congressman Mike
You're
Rogers.
the number one, the number two, a one and a half, number two with me. But that's
November for
staying strictly with
Democrats
one
if they want to
lane.
take that.
You know what I mean?
Got another
As he started
graduate and practice more. Exactly. And then when you know you got paid, bust out paid, and you know, I can't tell you nothing. It's on you. But I promise you, I'll
Right now, that race is too close to call. A lot of folks are watching this today. There's some interesting dynamics here. On the Republican side, Time Masterson has projected Blair no surprise in that crowded.
The same way you had to fight up there to get
Establishment Democrats hanging on in two key races. The first NBC News can project that the sitting Democratic Congressman Wesley Bell will win Missouri's first district, fending off a challenge by former Congresswoman and Progressive Squad member Cori Bush.
In Michigan's 11th congressional district, the candidate backed by statewide Democrats.
Oh, I forgot I was live.
Is projected to defeat the
How y'all doing? Oh, shit.
Congressman Will Connor in Washington.
Let me see what people were saying about me and this haircut I just did.
7th congressional district, where the progressive candidate backed by Bernie Sanders, William Lawrence, is trying to win.
You know, I was in the middle. I was eating. That's what I was doing. I was eating.
And the question is the moderate vote there, how
Man.
divided, essentially creating.
Good Lord. I really forgot what this video was about. I really forgot what I was talking about. Can anybody remind me what we were talking about in this video? Because I'm glad that the customer came in, because nigga-itis would have kicked in. I would have went straight to sleep. Ready?
Yeah, I
You look like you just got through fight, nigga. I'm like, what the hell wrong with you?
Was out there bullshit with me because I'm like, look, my nigga, I don't need all that warranty and shit. He's like, man, I gotta get you the warranty. I'm like, all right, look, the 6 months warranty, $60. Nah, nigga, look, trust me, take the warranty off, my nigga, fuck that shit. How much you gonna give it to me for? All right, 3-month warranty, $44.
3-month warranty. He still give you warranty.
No, I told that nigga, I said, look, I only got $44, man, help me out. Oh, you gonna put it in yourself? Nah, my nigga, you asking for too much. Yeah, I ran into my nigga delivering the chip.
Did you go down there by that other spot?
Nigga,
Was they open?
That nigga, he answered. I get there, nigga, as soon as I pull in, the nigga pulled off. I go in the back, he like, oh man, he just went to lunch. He said, as soon as you came in, you seen the black little Nissan I pulled out, that was him. I'm like, how long he on lunch for? Oh, he on lunch for an hour. Man, fuck this shit. So I left. But now I got a new battery now, so nigga, I ain't gotta worry about shit no more.
Shit ain't new, nigga.
Huh?
That shit ain't new. And then put some water in that motherfucker, fill that motherfucker up.
No, it's new. He gave me like the recentest, like this year, battery. Like, cool, give me a 2026 battery, nigga. I don't want no old shit.
You asked for a lot, nigga. You only got half the price. You want 2026? You get the 2024 right here.
Same thing with tires, too. Niggas be talking about, hey, man, this shit is old, man. I need a 20. All right, cool. I got you.
Your ass ain't too much.
He did say that. I'm sure he did. Let me get it. First, I said, no, man, let's help me out. Let me get this shit done, man. Fuck that shit. Well, yeah, I gotta get it cut, man. Fuck that. And I'm finna go figure out what this talking about. Time for me to break the ice for myself. Pick up and grinding and thugging it out, but nigga, thugging and grinding it out don't mean you ain't gotta look good. This shit lined up real quick. Yeah, now my baby came back to life. I feel 2 times better.
What'd you say? She's clearly mad at the kid's dad. Hence you need seeing them in this barbershop before. Fuck you talking about? That's a regular. I cut that little boy hair about 5 times. That wasn't a walk-in. I got him on my profile. I did the design on his head. I got him on a design picture. In Nigeria.
You ain't out there.
I wouldn't have did his hair for no plantains. You got me fucked up. I wish somebody would come at me with some damn bananas talking about, can you cut my damn hair? Talking about in Nigeria, you'd have had to do that haircut for a bag of plantain chips. He got me fucked up. He got me fucked up. They ever do some hair for some plantain chips? Hell no.
That was the sound right.
Talking about they offer food for haircuts and motherfucker gonna walk up with a sack of dry beans, black beans. I got some black beans, man, for a haircut.
I don't know where you gonna get your haircut at.
I don't even eat bananas. I think Danny. Oh, y'all been having conversations away on this motherfucker. What up, Monique? What up, Tessa? Tesla. He talking about ducks. You out of paper towels too. I had a roll of toilet paper. Why you talking about my roll of toilet paper on the counter? Y'all always look for the details behind in the scenes to talk about. Y'all want to talk about little bullshit. I had a roll of toilet paper on the counter. Somebody need to wipe their nose, man. I thank y'all for coming in, following me, man, pushing that like button. Show me some love. How many? We got 32.